So coacheslist.view it is. That's the first page I want to start with. And this will become a quite complex page in the end, because you might remember that on there, I don't just wanted to output a list of coaches, I also wanted to add some filtering logic so that we can filter the list of coaches which is displayed. And outputting a list of coaches also means that we need coaches to begin with. And at the moment, we're not managing any data at all. But we can get started with the base template at least. And here, to get started with this base template, I of course add a template here to coacheslist.view. But now in there, what do we need? We will have a section or a div, whatever you want, where we later will have to filter. And below that, we'll have another part of this page, another section, another div, where we will have our list of coaches. These will be the two main areas. Now, I will create two separate sub-components for that, so that our coaches list component stays relatively lean. But at least we now got a basic template, a dummy template, which should allow us to see something on the screen when this page is visited. So if we run our development server with npm run serve, let's see if we can at least see this on the screen when we visit our application. And indeed, if I load this page, I'm redirected to /coaches and I see filter and list of coaches. Now, the styling obviously is off. I mean, the entire content is missing, but I can already tell that this is also not the font I want to use. So I want to set up some global styling, some base styling in app view, which will apply to the entire app. And this is therefore not scoped styling, but just a style, so that it is applied globally. And I prepared the styling for you because I don't want to write the styles together with you, as this is not a CSS course, and I know from other courses that it's boring to some people if we write too much CSS. Hence, I'll provide all the CSS code for you. Of course, you can also tweak it to your own needs. You can adjust it to look the way you want it to look, whatever you want. So attached you find this app CSS file, and in there you find the styles which you should copy into these style tags of your app view file. An import to Google Fonts where I load a font, and then, well, I set up some basic styling, set up that base font, remove the margin on the body, and with this applied, we now have this font in effect. So now that works, that looks, well, not the way I want it to look, but it has this base styling at least. Now, how should we continue though? I mean, this page is pretty much worthless if we don't have any coaches that could be output here. So therefore, I see two possible routes we can take. We can either now start adding Vuex and start adding data, or we first of all finish up the entire base layout and navigation. We add a header to this application so that we can reach all pages, and we have some dummy code on all pages, and we then add the data. And I'll go with that second route. I'll first of all wire up the navigation and the base layout before I then come back to the data. So to add some basic layout and some basic navigation, I will go to the source folder and add a components folder next to pages. And in there, I'll add let's say a layout folder. And in that layout folder, we can add the header.view file, which should hold the base header with the navigation we want in this application. The header component will be used in the app view file above the router view. So here we can add a script already in app view and import the header from components, layout, the header.view, and register this as a local component here in app view. A local component because we only use it here. And then here we can render the header above the router view. Now here, back in the header.view, the question is, what do we want in here in the template? Well, I want a header HTML element which should hold my navigation. And as part of the navigation, I'll have the main title of this page, so to say, where I want to say something like find a coach. And next to that, also an unordered list where we have our different navigation items. And that, of course, should be router links. And actually, even that text here in the H1 element should be a router link because it should be clickable and should always lead us back to the starting page. So here I want to go to /nothing, which will then redirect to coaches. But this will basically always go back to the root entry page of this app. Here I also want to go to /coaches, let's say, which of course is basically the same as clicking on this title. But here I want to say all coaches. So this will be one of the navigation items we have. And the other item will go to /requests to show us the requests we received. So the messages that were sent by users to us if we are registered as a coach. If we are not, we won't see any requests here. So this is the basic setup here for the header, let's say. I don't need any script here at the moment because there's nothing dynamic in here, nothing that would need a Vue script code. But of course, I want to have some styling here, and I want to have some scoped CSS code in here. And again, you find that attached. You find the header CSS file attached, which contains a bunch of styles I prepared for you, which you can just copy between those style tags so that we all use the same styling. I'm basically just giving the header a certain width and a certain color, and then it's all just about styling the links and the active links. That's important. The active router link, by using that router link active class, which you learned would be applied to the link that's responsible for the current page. And then I also have some other styles for laying things out correctly. With that, we got a header. And if we now reload, this is what we should see. You see all coaches is active. And we could also go to requests, where we don't see anything on the screen, but switching the page works. So that's the header of this application now. And with that, we made a good step forward because now we got a first basic way of navigating around. Now let's also work on the other pages and add some meat to them.